right, so now we're gonna roll into the story time of the night, and I want to ask you guys. So I've recently had to go get a few cars. Yeah, two, not one but two. So there's a bucket list that I didn't know I had. I'll talk about that in a second. But Joe, I want to start with you, man. What is your process when you go? Okay, I don't know if it's I need a car or I want a car. So start there. Do you only buy when you need one, or is it time to upgrade?
We only buy when we need one. And so we figure out what we need from that car. So, like, our last purchase was our van. And so we started doing research on different vans and what the used market looked like in our area. And then we also determined we had a few different models that we were looking at specifically, and so we searched the used market for those different models to see what we could get, and we also knew what our budget was, and that if they couldn't meet our budget, that we needed to walk away. And so actually with this van, we went to one dealership that had basically this exact same van, and they couldn't meet us where we needed to be met for our budget. And so we walked away, and it ended up being a huge blessing because the next weekend we found one at a dealership. I think it was like 30 minutes away or an hour away, but it was like $2,000 or $3,000 cheaper, and so it was in budget for us, and it actually ended up having less miles as well than the one we were first looking at. And so it's just knowing your parameters is the best starting point, in my opinion.
How do you set your budget personally?
By looking at how much you can spend each month on the car payment. So we looked at our monthly budget and said, okay, this is how much we can afford in a car payment, and keep it under that. So that's what we did.
And Mordant, you said you had a kind of a sad car shopping story.
Well, recently, first I'm going to answer the question that you asked him. Okay. I haven't changed my car. I've had my truck for 20 years now.
The Titan, man.
I bought it back in 2004. It's the first year they came out with it. And for whatever reason, that vehicle that year, I've got over 450,000 miles on my truck.
Wow.
And I'm like, and it's not a diesel. And I'm like, oh, I'm impressive. I'm gonna go ahead and tweet this out. And there are people out there who are like 500 and something thousand. So we're out there. So I don't change my vehicle. I don't have a payment. My payment is when something goes wrong, I have to pay for that. That's my payment. Yeah. My sad story is that I was opening up a show in Ohio. I have a Renaissance business there, and I had a rental car. And so I was setting up my car, and they told us not to drive in that area. My wife wants me to buy a new car, and she's saying so in the comments. Anyways, so I parked my car out, and I'm taking care of my car, the cart that I'm setting up, and I see people over by it, and I walk over by it, and this girl has backed up into my vehicle, my parked rental car vehicle. And she didn't see it. She has a big bike rack on the back, and she backed up into this. Now, normally not a sad story. Why would I be troubled with that? Because of course I took their insurance. Of course I've done that every time. Why would I not do that this one time where I did not take their insurance for the rental car? And now I'm getting to experience what that's about. And I've already, somebody suggested, you should call your insurance company because the rental car they hadn't reached out to me yet. So I called them.
But it's her fault.
Huh?
But it was her fault. So
it was her fault. The way it works is that Enterprise is saying, hey, Mr. Robinson, you owe this much money. And I went, okay.
There's a lot to it.
Like, we've talked to the rental company. You have to pay the deductible, and we're going to go after the person who backed into the car. If we're able to get that money, we will reimburse you. If not, you have to pay the deductible. I'm like, okay, I see how that works. The life lesson this has taught me is always take the rental car insurance.
Yeah,
always. It's the first time I didn't do it, and I'm somewhat. It's a life lesson. So that's my sad story.
I'm glad to hear that the Titan's still tightening. I mean,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
it was fairly new when I met you. I don't remember what year we met, to be honest with you, man.
Yeah,
It's
it's
bear
not
crawling days.
a paint job and all this stuff, but it's like if you're picking up, I travel across the country, so if you're picking out a vehicle you want to rob, you're going to look at my truck and go, maybe not that one.
It's a great security system.
Yeah.
I personally tend to buy a car. I like to flip my cars about 100,000 miles. I drive a lot. I like the upgrades. I like the newest stuff. I like to be comfortable because I feel like I live in my vehicle as much as I live in my house. And so that's usually my standard. Currently, my car is on 164,000 miles because I bought a motorcycle instead. And so I'm actually trying to sell my motorcycle now. So if you'd like a great Indian motorcycle, hit me up.
What you selling
that,
for?
well, I'm selling it for to get rid of the payment. That's why. No, it's a 2016 Indian Chief Dark Horse, and it's got blood red seats with everything else blacked out. It's a beautiful bike. I love it. I just want it as a toy and not as something I'm paying a car payment on.
Yeah.
And so right now I'm asking $13,000 for it, but we'll see. It's on Cycle Trader. You can hit me up.
So if you hit this new Patreon level,
yeah,
for $13,000 a month, you can have Charles's motorcycle.
Hey, no. I'll make it just over my payment at $450 a month. I can keep my motorcycle, and you can just watch me ride. Cool. Thanks. All right.
We will personally send you a video.
Yeah. So, right before Dragon Con, my wife, her minivan check engine light came on, and we have one of those code readers. So we read the code, and it said transmission. We didn't worry about it. It's a Dodge, and Dodge have crappy transmissions apparently because we bought it. It's a 2015. We bought it in I think 2018, and in like 2020 or 2021, somewhere right in there, we had to rebuild the transmission, and we were really pissed then. But we had the savings, and we took care of it, and we rebuilt the transmission and got a warranty on it. Warranty ran out about 5 months before the check engine light came on, and they want to rebuild the transmission again. And we're like, no, this is ridiculous. So it became an issue of we need to get a vehicle, and I just paid off my car, but that only freed up $200 because that's the other thing. We buy smart, and my car payment was $200 a month. It was stupid low, and so it didn't really free up a lot of money in this market. And so we started looking and planning, and part of it is Erin does use her vehicle to drive Lyft, and so I was like, okay, she still wanted another minivan to drive the XL. Well, we couldn't find minivans in the range like you're talking about, Joe. It's interesting. You go to a haggle place. We tried that 2 go rounds ago of cars. So before this one, because I was like, okay, I'm not afraid. I know, like you're talking about, Joe, I know what my budget is. I know what we want to pay for stuff. And we actually had a Dodge van at that point for about a week and found out how shady some of these car places can be. And because I was like, wait, there's no percentage on my interest rate. There's no interest rate on my percentages or whatever. Oh no, that's just we'll let that in. We've got your deal. It's going to be $250 a month. You're fine. We got you. Like, okay, but that doesn't seem right. Well, it wasn't because they hadn't locked in the deal and they couldn't get the financing for what they promised us, and so we had to take the van back. Then we spent a day going to other dealerships in a certain area and doing the haggle thing, and just got bad treatment everywhere. Of waiting forever, no answers, bad deals. What we went back to CarMax, and I'm telling you, Wise and Nerdy can be sponsored by CarMax anytime they want, because I will do a live commercial for you. Because I'm not only the president of the hair club, I'm a member too. With CarMax, that day we left all the mess, went over there, and within 30 minutes had found the right vehicle at the right price. And then at that time you had to run everything slowly over the internet. So it took another couple hours to get the deal done with the pricing, whatever. So that's what we do now. We just go to CarMax. We look, I do try to shop around a little bit, but honestly, no haggle price. I know I can see what I'm going to pay per month, which is my more important thing.
Yeah.
Is how much I'm paying per month right now. Ultimately, it will be the value of the car. That's where I want my life to get to is, I want to work this deal. Like, I don't know how you work your deal, Morton, but I'm watching some TikTok videos on new vehicles. You can work some really good deals with incentives and rebates and all this other stuff. And like, cool. Yeah, you're paying top dollar. Holy crap, man. 450,000 miles. I think you got every penny out of that top dollar you might have spent on that truck. And then some. But we ended up doing the searching, found some vehicles in range that she wanted, went to go test drive them, didn't like the one she found, and ended up finding a slightly more expensive upgraded vehicle that was newer, had less mileages, and it bumped her from the XL to Comfort Plus, which is like the top tier of lift that you can drive. And so that even helped out. And I was like, I love toys. I love seat heaters and Bluetooth and nice big screen and backup cameras and all that. And she's getting used to it now. She likes it. Then, so that was right after Dragon Con. We bought it the Friday after Dragon Con. And cool, done. We knew how we're going to pay for it, because my 200 for my car can go to that. If I can sell my bike, I can cover the whole thing and then some. But she's going to work, which is part of the deal. Is like, you like the kids. If you're working, you're paying. You got to do something here, help out. It really jacked up our insurance. I'll get to that. But our process is knowing roughly where we want to land our monthly payments, and then just searching for weeks online to then narrow it down to 2 or 3 cars, and then we go. Typically, like I said, CarMax, we go there and we'll buy it. So we bought on Friday. Saturday, a week later, my daughter's having battery issues, and long story short, her car dies in the middle of the road, and I got to show off for her, which is I loved, because she doesn't understand how neutral works, and that's okay. But I was like, put it in neutral, and I'll push. She's like, it won't move. I'm like, just trust me, it'll move. And I'm like, I might really have to push. I start pushing. It's like grape ape. It's like, I could jump on top of it. But then traffic wasn't stopping. So it's like she's watching me in the rear view while trying to guide the car over. I'm pushing with one hand, the other hand. I'm like, stop, butt faces. I didn't say butt faces, but I'm like, yeah. She's like, that's my dad. Anyway, so we did the same thing. That night we went and looked at CarMax, looked at a couple of different ones, knew exactly what she could afford because she's going to have to pay it with her job, but we knew her budget, what she could afford. Within 24 hours, we'd gone and gotten her a little sporty car that she likes. It's a little compact. It's kind of a SUV, but it looks like a sports car almost. She loves it. It's a Veloster, a Hyundai Veloster. It's a fun little thing.
Nice.
Done and dusted. And don't overthink it, right? Because I think I get into analysis paralysis. But definitely, Joe, like you said, have a budget, because it is way too easy to go, I think I could work that out. I could stretch my money. I was like, no.
That's something you got to figure out before you go shopping. Because
I don't know. If somebody can tell me how, I'd love to hear it for how do I. We'll do a speak pipe. How do I check my insurance rates before I buy a car? Because that was the one thing we didn't know how to do. I still today don't know how to do it. So we bought the car that fit everything that we needed and fit the life. Erin, when she drove it, because we drove 2 or 3 cars, and when she drove this, she goes, is it weird to say that this one's mine? Like, it feels like this one's mine. It's like, no, that's why you drive cars.
I'd assume you could call your insurance company and they can run the figures for you if you talk to your agent and say, hey, we're getting rid of this car. Maybe. This is what we're looking at. Can you run the numbers for me?
You know what? They might could do that. I know if you do it online, you need a VIN number, but I didn't think about calling a human. I mean, this is a post-COVID world. Who deals with humans anymore?
Yeah.
So
you know that thing in your pocket? It's not just for playing video games. You can actually put numbers into it.
There's an app that's green with a white symbol. It looks like an old-timey phone, but I don't know what it is. But so we learned the hard way. Well, we were coming on renewal anyway. It's all perfect timing. And Mordant, I think you and I discussed many times with Success Freaks, humans don't move until they have to move.
Yep.
And so while we knew our insurance was going up because, well, our kids are older teenagers now, which helps. Every year that they get older helps drop the rate down until they get to 25. Then it's pretty much just based on your driving history at that. They've had a few incidences, but they're getting away from those as well. So that's falling up. But our insurance went up. Guys, $8,000 for 6 months is what Progressive quoted us. Yeah.
Wow.
4 drivers, 4 cars. But yeah.
Okay.
And we're like, that's still a lot though. Yeah. You're thinking about your own insurance and you did the math real quick. Oh no, that's still a lot of it.
Yeah, that's a lot.
That's we want you to go away money. It was going to be like almost $2,000 a month. Actually, a little over $2,000 a month, right? Yeah, 2, 4, 6, whatever. It's 6 months, maybe a little less than $2,000. I don't remember. It was a lot. It was a lot. That's all I'm saying. But it made me, especially after we had to add her, it went up even more with this newer car. I was like, let me just see what's out there. And sure enough, man, my wife, I saw some text messages come through. My wife's handling Geico right now, where it went from being an almost $2,000 payment a month if we go that way, because $8,000 was the 6-month payoff, by the way. It's more. It's like almost $1,500 more if we do it every month instead. So Geico was like, well, with everything that we see, if you pay by the month, it's $1,000 a month. I'm like, per K? I think you meant like $1,000 per car per month. What? Nope. And so, like, not only did we get good, reliable vehicles that my family can be safe in and be happy in and have fun in, we got a better price on insurance, and I'm still trying to sell the motorcycle. Unless you want to join the $450 tier, and I will send you a personal video when I ride.